Hi everyone, this is the second part of the Venus retrograde video. In the first one, I covered the overview, and now I'm going to cover both by date, the specifics of which dates what transit exists and how to make use of them. And also, this is your October 2018 general horoscope because I'll talk about all the transits that will take place during the month. I will also be doing your sign specific videos, of course, like every month, but this will act as a blueprint. I'll leave, as before, timestamps in the comments section and the description window so you can access specific timelines and your sign specific, how it's going to turn out for your sign. So let's get started. As we stand today on 21st of September, Venus is at its maximum illumination in the sky. It is considered to be the strongest when it's fully illuminated, and after that it will start its downward journey. It will move below the horizon and finally disappear when you'll have the retrograde period starting on 5th of October. This period between now till 5th of October is when Venus will be at its peak, because when a planet is about to go retrograde, its impact on Earth is the strongest. So Venus in Scorpio will be felt very strongly right now, which means all the themes that I described in the last video about Venus being all about power controls in relationship, truth coming out, you're seeing it in the news, the reality of sexual abuse coming out, control issues coming out in the relationships, ambition stoking up, sexual energy being very high during this time. So all of those themes you'll see at its peak during this time, but at the same time we are evening star at its peak, so you are more likely to remember past lovers and cling to the past during this time. Because of that, we tend to attract exes during this time. We tend to attract people who we had left behind, some friends, old friends coming back, some old creative projects which we had left behind coming back in our consciousness, and the thoughts of how our current financial situation is not what it should be coming back into our consciousness right now. All of this is part of the process for us to realize what we want, what we value, what we love. So it's all for our benefit in the end, but that's how you would feel. We tend to feel in the shadow period as a built up to the retrograde cycle. This is a time when I had suggested in my September video to not go overboard in our commitment in both relationships as well as financials. So not making any large expenses, purchases, not making any large commitments in our relationships, because all of that will undergo a review over the next couple of months. So any relationships that are initiating now are part of your transformation. They are part of a death rebirth process that you'll be going through. So there is going to be a lot of intensity in that. You can choose whether you want that intensity in a relationship or not as a ongoing theme. But normally the relationships that are initiated now, they don't continue in their current format at all. So just be aware of that. Because of that, it's better not to make a strong commitment to yourself or to the other person during this time. Also, the cardinal energy will be very strong right now because Libra season has initiated, and we are going to have an Aries moon, full moon at the end of the month as well. Both of these together are very high cardinal energy, which means we feel like initiating new things. But as I mentioned, in relationships, it might not be the best time. So with that, we enter the actual retrograde period on 5th of October. Venus will be about 30 degrees ahead of Sun when it will appear to move backward, and that is the start of the retrograde period. During the retrograde period, Venus is going to come closest to Earth, but it will be invisible because it would have dipped below the horizon. It is considered per ancient astrology, when Venus is invisible, when a planet is invisible, its benefits, its blessings are disrupted. especially around the time when that's happening. So that can cause that period, especially the first 1.5 week, you can feel disruptions and confusions in relationships, business affairs, money values, self-worth, in your style. Mayans used to call Venus grizzly and violent during its retrograde period. I can't say that's how we would be expecting things to be. You can look back, as I mentioned in the last video, to September 2010 to December 2010 if it was grizzly and violent for you. But I don't think that's how things go. I have experienced that twice in my lifetime, but it's more of drama, extremes. That is definitely a mark of a retrograde period of Venus in a Mars dominant sign of Scorpio. We now have 40 days from 5th of October to 16th of November of we are rethinking love, we are rethinking values, rethinking creative issues. And at global level, you will see diplomacy will also undergo a period of review. International relationships will undergo. You're already seeing that between China and US. This is the time as a built up when Venus is so strong in Scorpio. We are taking extremes right now, and the diplomacy will undergo a severe test of strength and realignment during this time. This is the period we would like to go to what's known, cling to the old, cling to the past, and as the sky will have it, old connections are more likely to come back into our life during this time. But there is a reason a person is your ex, whether it's your ex-husband, it's your ex-friend, it's your ex-best friend. There is a reason they are an ex, because the past Venus retrograde cycle probably taught you something. That's why they coming back into your consciousness right now, or even reminded of that relationship right now, having hurt feelings from that time coming back right now, are only to remind you why you had to let those people go in the first place. You will also physically feel this because Venus rules our very skin that we wear. It basically rules our physical beauty. So you'll feel it in form of a little bit of skin issues, allergies of the skin flaring up, feeling of unloved and not feeling very attractive, or feeling unappreciated in relationships is very common right now. We are using a magnifier right now and magnifying the flaws in relationship, magnifying the flaws in our physical appearances. So just be aware of that you'll be looking for too much. Where there might be a little pimple, you'll be looking at, oh, I don't look good at all in any shape or form. Those kind of thoughts could get exaggerated in a loop during this time, especially for the fixed signs, especially for Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio, and to some extent Libra, because they will be dominated by Venus, because there's a harsh aspect being made to these signs. During this time, it's suggested to not spend a large sums of money for this 40 days that you have from 6th of October, from 5th of October to 16th of November. It is suggested to not make a huge investment. It is suggested definitely not to buy anything of value which is Venusian. So art investment, an investment into a new wardrobe, an investment into getting a whole new look, physically done, having a completely new hairstyle, having a cosmetic surgery done right now is a big no, because you will change your mind about it. Any major decisions on relationships or partnerships, business partnerships, are also best held up for now, at least not signing the physical papers. Even if you want to feel like, and you will, Venus in Scorpio is very intense, want to be with somebody, live their whole life, get merged in their life, kind of a thought process. So those kind of thought processes will come to you, but it is best to not make a major step during this time, because you will tend to change your mind. My closet is full of clothes never worn and bought during Venus retrograde, and you can check yours. It's probably yours too. So it's a good time to get rid of those. I'm sorry, I had to cut the video in between because my daughter was crying. So just picking back from where we left, it's not a great time to fill up your closet with new clothes, but if you're finding some great bargains, because seller, the other side is also on Venus retrograde, right? So the seller is also facing Venus retrograde. So if the seller is not realizing the true value of what they're selling, and you're getting a great bargain during this time, like a second hand thing or an antique being sold at a great deep discount, excellent time to find the right bargains, going to the flea market or going to the antique markets and buying something old, which is being sold at not at its true value. Giving away unwanted Venusian items from your closet, great time for that. Renegotiating any kind of re-happening. So renegotiating the contracts of the financial contract which exists from before retrograde, like a loan, maybe a business partnership, or the money that is shared between partners, renegotiating the terms of that, great time to do that. Renegotiating terms of an existing relationship, personal relationship, whether it is a friendship or it is your committed love relationships, great time to renegotiate, going deep into it, getting more committed on it, not sitting on fence anymore. Venus in Scorpio doesn't want us to sit on fence anymore. It wants us to pick a side, and then it wants to go deep into that side. Either it is go time or it is the time to let that relationship go. As for exes who are coming back into your life, it's a great time for these past relationships to be fully released for once. Retrograde period is best served as a period of disengagement from a previous cycle, and the aspects you could experience during this time are very disengaging as well, because Uranus is a key partner in this retrograde period. So Venus and Uranus, when they meet, the idea is to cut the past and initiate something new. Apart from that, as I said, a little bit of insecurity, feeling unloved, unappreciated, very common during this time. But this inward journey can create some creative breakthroughs. Venus and Neptune will be making a positive aspect for the first 1.5 week for you, going inward and creating. If you are in any creative field, or there are old hobbies that you've forgotten about that used to give you joy, reigniting those, is this is the best time to do that, and you would come up with the best creative idea, especially around the new moon, around the 8th of October. Venus and Neptune are still very, very close at that time. So when Venus and Neptune are close to each other, we get such great creative ideas, creative passions at the time, and they're resurrected from the dead. They're brought back to your conscious eye, but they're not best to be publicized to the public during this time. It is best for Venus to go direct, for you to publish something. But go deep into research mode. This is Scorpio. So Scorpio is all about going deep into occult, going deep into astrology, going deep into self-knowledge, going deep into a topic of your interest that you want to do a deep research into. That's a great time to do that. Retrograde period is normally a recoil time, so you'll find yourself staying away from a crowd, staying away from large masses of people. It might be a conscious decision, or an event might trigger that. Even if you are busy in the day to day, you'll not be looking for frivolous talk. You'll not be engaging in any vain, superficial talks during this time. You'll feel like finding deeper meaning in your day-to-day discussion. This will become even more prominent after 9th of October, when Mercury, our mind, will move into Scorpio too. Then the Scorpio energy is very high, and Scorpio does not believe in the superficial. So the casual chit chat will not really be coming about during this time. What will be coming about, especially after 9th of October, when Mercury moves into Scorpio, will be truths coming out, will be realities that were hidden from your consciousness coming out, naked truth about relationships and people coming out to create authenticity. The discord that those truths coming out is essentially there to highlight the gap between your ideal relationships, your ideal partnerships, and you. So, your ideas of values, creative inspiration, and beauty and relationship, how far off do you stand from that? That will get highlighted to you. Use that knowledge. Unfortunately, Venus in Scorpio does not like to commiserate. So, even though this X ray vision of feelings will be existing and you'll be understanding the true truth of what the other person is thinking and feeling about you, but it does not like to give in to weakness. So, you will not see a lot of reassuring words from friends and people around you, because there is no place for weakness in Venus in Scorpio. Venus in Scorpio wants you to create your own power, and because of that, the aspects of the first 1.5 weeks support you coming into your inner strength. Because first of all, on 3rd of October, to start the month itself, Mercury will be squaring Pluto. Pluto is all about coming into your power. Mercury is our mind. So this is our mind meeting our internal power, but it will not come without conflicts. Because when Mercury is also a communication, and this is power struggle in our communication, especially with authority figures that you'll face during the first week of October. There will be somebody who would not be liking you coming into your full power and wants you to toe the line, and that will come into conflict during the first week of October. There's another aspect which will continue to support that, which is active during the Libra new moon on 8th and 9th of October. Sun will also be squaring Pluto at that time. So this becomes a physical fight. This becomes a physical power struggle with an authority figure. Use this to make your point, not to have an aggressive fight with somebody. Because Sun and Pluto meeting together, Mercury and Pluto meeting together, the cycle that Pluto is in, it is a very empowering time. Pluto is in Capricorn. It wants to demolish the existing authority and create a new one. You are seeing that in the administration where there's huge amount of changes happening. This can mark a time of that as well, of people reconsidering whether the authority they are under in, it makes any sense to be under it or not. So the first 1 week is very, very important in terms of control issues coming up, in terms of fights with authority coming up, but this will bring out your personal power. And as I said, Venus in Scorpio wants you to be dependent on you. It wants to create a strength in you. So that is further highlighted with these aspects. The positive of it is that on 9th of October or on 8th of October, depending on where you are in the world, there's a new moon in the sign of Libra, which is all about objectivity, balance, and diplomacy in relationships. So it infuses a fresh energy into this very intense first 10 days of the month and says, let's try to look at both sides and then make our point to the authority figures or to the relationships in our life. So that helps. Tap into that. Tap into the creativity. Sun and Mercury are making extremely creative aspects for the first 1.5 weeks. It's a very good time, especially on 10th of October when Venus is squaring Mars. That's a fight day. I'll talk more about that. That's the second time that aspect is. Go inward during this time and do your own stuff. Do your own thing on 10th of October. Don't insist on convincing somebody of your point of view on 10th of October. There is no point in telling somebody that you are right when they want to themselves, when they have a power struggle going on inside them. It's not about you. Everybody else will be going through the same transits that I'm talking about. So there's a power struggle, everybody else feeling that they need to impress their personal power right now. That will be the energy existing all around you. So it's very important to realize that there is a way to impress your power, which is within yourselves. Instead of driving your life force and wasting it on other people, drive your life force creatively towards your life purpose versus trying to prove yourselves to other during this time. You will be wasting your energy if you'll try to prove yourselves to other right now, because everybody will be on a power trip for the first 1.5 week. So the aspect on 10th of October is a bit of tension, right? Venus squaring Mars. Mars wants action, wants you to create excitement, and Venus is saying, let's try and create more depth in the relationships. These two can cause possibility of outbursts. Mars in Aquarius is very rebellious. It wants you to be rebellious. It wants you to be detached a little bit. While Venus in Scorpio is saying it's all or nothing. It's now or never. Moon in Scorpio, Moon will also be in Scorpio that day and will be squaring Mars. This is emotional outpouring. This is magnified deep hurt. Taking a discussion with a loved one right now will scar you right now. Don't do it on 10th of October, I'll urge you. People will be taking things way too personally. In general, frustrations with loved ones will seem high on that day. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm just giving you bad news, but I'm just trying to warn you on the aspects that are there. There will be a good time to talk. Just following that, 2 or 3 days later, than just 10th of October is not the time to initiate it. This is the day of other things. You can engage this extra energy in physical action, go work out, or work out in the bedroom. This is a great sexual energy. In a relationship that is on a solid ground, this is exhilarating. This is fresh energy and excitement coming in. But in a relationship where things haven't been said and you use this day to say it, you can experience verbal explosions. Such strong Scorpio energy with Mercury just moved into Scorpio as well, doesn't want to accept any superficiality, and power struggles are very much possible. It's just 9th of October. Mercury has just entered Scorpio. It's just taking its color, getting intense, truth coming out, secrets coming out, you realizing you were looking at some rosy picture and that's not really true in your relationships. There were things in 2010 that came out and you brushed it under the carpet. They coming out with full explosive energy back into your consciousness. It's not a good time to intentionally express your feelings. This can be experienced a day earlier as well. I find oppositions as opportunities. We are looking for freedom, innovation, brilliance, progressiveness in our relationships and our actions, which can benefit all of us. But it's just not the time to come up with a solution. The next 2 days, on the other hand, when Mercury will get engaged, our logical mind instead of feelings will get engaged in the whole process, we will get some ideas on how to resolve this conflict. Mercury will be opposing Uranus. This is like sudden download of solutions, sudden download of deep knowledge. Mercury is in Scorpio. You can research an item, learn it immediately on between 11th and 12th of October. It's an excellent time to do that. It's also a time to think whether you are on your right life path or not, and there will be people and events that will come into your consciousness which will show you whether you are standing far away from your goals or closer to your life path. And it's very important to pay attention to this because it's better to intelligently understand it before emotionally acting on it. And we will be emotionally acting on it because Venus will be making these exact aspects later in the month. So what's coming into your consciousness between 11th to 14th of October, understanding and assimilating that is very, very important. On 14th of October, Mercury and Venus will be talking to each other. This is very constructive discussion day. This is the day when the emotions can find an emotional, can find a intelligent outcome, can find a constructive discussion with the loved one or with the authority figure with whom you've had a conflict recently. Mercury, our mind, our intellect has been making aspects of its own, so it's aware of the situation. It has logically analyzed it. Now it's time to incorporate what Venus has learned so far in terms of what you like, what you don't, whether I'm on the right job or not, whether I'm in the right relationship or not, what is my authentic path, what is my authentic relationship. And now they want to meet together and create a logical conclusion of that. I like that our logical mind has made these aspects before because we are not talking just purely basis of our feelings. Even though our feelings, our intuition, I'm very much about talking and believing in our intuition. And in Venus and Scorpio, your intuition will be at its peak. But at a retrograde, we are magnifying these feelings. So if there are any conflicts with a few karmic people coming up, accept that as a lesson during this time. If there are sudden events, destined events happening to you, taking you kicking and screaming to your life path, understand that it is to set your path correct, to keep you honest with your life path. So this transference happens at a global level during this time. You will find that physical abuse issue, women issues, they will all coming into revelation, and forceful movement and progress in that direction will happen. Jupiter in Scorpio has already been leading that path. We have been seeing all throughout this year those themes to be dominant in the news because of Jupiter being in Scorpio as well. Then we continue with this. We continue to have Mercury trining Neptune. This is an excellent creativity day on 19th of October. Mercury is also being squared by Mars on that day. So excitement is great about creating new ideas. Your mind is sped up. If you engage in a discussion, there's a possibility of creating something out of conflict on 19th of October, because Mercury and Mars are in hard aspect to each other. But as long as you understand the other person's point of view, you can come to some great creative breakthroughs on 19th of October. I'll choose that day to write if I write, or paint if I paint, or do something creative, or an ideation at your workplace on 19th of October. 22nd of October is even better, but it's better for research because Mercury will be meeting Pluto in a positive aspect on 22nd of October. That is great to go deeper into some research item. And if you have any documentations, etc., when Mercury and Pluto meet together, business documents are best analyzed on 22nd of October. Then comes the full moon in Taurus on 24th of October. I love Taurus full moon because they add a stability, a grounding, a comforting energy to our life. And this Taurus full moon will do exactly that, creating more material support for us. Sun will also be now in Scorpio, so we'll have all the key planets in fixed signs now. So we've gone through a lot of turbulent time, and now it's time to create fixity. It's time to create much more firmer and possibly fixed forward course of action. This doesn't come without the share of surprises, as nothing does. You are going to experience a little bit of shock value because Sun is being opposed by Uranus during this time. So this call of freedom is again invoked during this time. Sudden encounters which will feel fated coming into existence during this time, but the culmination is to create more material stability, more material support for you. What's magical about this culmination, though, in my view, is that Venus and Saturn meet for the second time to create the final conclusion, the final rebirth of Venus in a mature fashion. What is a mature decision you are taking? And Venus is making this mature decision before meeting the impulsive Mars and Uranus later in the month. And that to me is the distinguishing factor about this whole Venus retrograde. We are maturing our decisions in relationships, in beauty, in our style, in our finances. We are maturing in all of those areas because of Saturn being an active participant in it. And Saturn in Capricorn wants to create material stability for a long time for you. It can act like a wet blanket, not asking you to go beyond your means, but at the same time it's wanting to create something long term for you. Following that is the turning point that we've been talking about. 26th of October is when Venus and Sun meet in the inferior conjunction. This is the turning point, the call to war. This is the beginning of new phase of Venus. When Venus comes between Earth and Sun, it's said that Venus in arms of Sun transfers its knowledge from retrograde period to embody it and then walks on Earth as a man or human. So Venus has died in its celestial format and now will be reborn as a human being, as a morning star, as Lucifer. During retrograde period, it's considered that the feminine side of Venus is assaulted and buried underground. What comes out is a pseudo male version, strong, courageous, valiant, militant, aggressive, but creating more self-love, creating more self-confidence Venus, going after and asking for what it deserves Venus. This is considered period of insemination when all that Venus has learned about what you like, what you don't like, what you love, what you don't love, all that inward journey is now being brought to action as Venus makes contact with your personal planets during this time. Venus makes contacts with Sun right now, inseminating all the knowledge into our physical being so we can take an action on it. Venus, if it's making any personal contacts with your natal planets during this time, so if you have any planets between 2 to 3 degree of Scorpio, they will be sitting at the heart of this insemination. They'll be sitting at the heart of this Venus meets Sun critical point, and the blueprint will get embedded in your planets for a long period of time. So what you have learned from this retrograde period will stay with you for a very long time if you have any planets between 2 to 3 degree of Scorpio. To some extent, 2 to 3 degree of Leo, Aquarius and Taurus will also feel that same energy because they'll be interacting with Venus in a square or opposition, but it can feel a little bit challenging to incorporate in your life. Then comes the heliacal rising. This is the most unstable time because Venus has just become new. Venus has just discovered its power and it's coming out the horizon. It wants to go wild. It wants to have a relationship. It wants to go wild and party. It wants to go to bed with the next person that it sees. That's the heliacal rising. The first 6 days after 26th of October are very unstable, both personally and politically, to take any step. Venus is still retrograde. It has met Sun, but it is still retrograde from 26th of October to the end of the month. It is still retrograde. It is a very unstable time. You will be tempted into multiple directions. You'll be tempted to go head first and lead with your feelings and go into a relationship during this time, and you'll get deeply hurt by it if you go for it. I'm sorry, I don't want to be sounding scaremongering, but I know so many people who've been hurt deeply because of initiating a relationship during this period of time, which is very, very unstable. Minds used to describe this period when Venus rose from the underworld, still covered in blood and gore of the dead. It's very, very wild time. Politically, you see the biggest failures by leaders during this time. You see their secrets come out. You see the resignations. You see them undergoing the most nefarious activities during this time. Major accidents and storms, this is a warning period for that between 26th to end of October. So just be careful during this time. You'll be very, very vulnerable at this time. Imagine like a heart post bypass. Venus rules our heart chakra. It's just too tender right now. It's just been set free. It's been told that you're wild. You have the full power to go get whatever you want. And that's what exactly we do. But it's still retrograde. So we are not thinking clearly and we go wild and get hurt very hard and deep during this time. The whole idea of this metaphoresis of Venus is for us to experience, of course, love in all its forms, in its tamed and controlled inward form that we've been experiencing earlier, and now in its wild, passionate, impulsive form. But we are trying to contain the damage while we do so. So between 27th of October to 16th of November, be careful about all of these things, especially the first 6 days starting from 26th of October. Then comes the final frontier, 31st of October. Venus is going to square the North Node and South Node and oppose the Uranus. This is the final frontier where you take a decision. This is a separative time. This is saying, how do I want to progress further? It's break or make time. And you make a decision on 31st of October, at least mentally, whether you want to proceed with this partnership, whether you want to proceed with this creative project, whether you want to proceed with going forward in that relationship or a friendship any further or not. This is also a time when a fresh, because Uranus wants you to be free. It wants to infuse fresh energy into your relationship. Nodes want to check, not node want to check. Are you on the right path while you're doing that, or you're just being wild? I like that we have made the contact with Saturn before, but it's still a shock. This is the second and the most impactful shock to our relationships, finances, creativity, self love. It's break or make time. No more fighting, no more arguments. We have the deeper understanding of what we want by now. So we release or we progress further. Mercury also enters Sagittarius now, and Libra enters. Venus enters Libra right now, so there's more rationalization. Mercury in Sagittarius understands the higher, bigger picture, the higher ideals, the higher goals, and Libra wants us to create a solution in a more diplomatic way versus getting into a fight. So it's an excellent time around 31st, falling 31st of October, to start resolving and forming your path. 10th of November is when Venus and Mars now move in a positive way. November is such a great period after what we have faced in October, because Venus in Libra is so happy. The relationships, even in retrograde period, get so much more blessed and positively influenced in November. But you are still in retrograde period, so reevaluation is continuing, but now you are coming to a positive conclusion. There is constructive action. Venus and Mars were squaring. They squared on 8th of October. They squared on 10th of October. That was fight. Fight and create excitement. Let's have sex, go to bed. Let's create excitement. Let's be impulsive right now. I want to set free kind of energy. That was conflict, friction, urge for excitement, friction. Let's break up, fight, or have an exciting physical experience energy. That is what you faced on 8th of September and 10th of October. But on 10th of November, that is converted into a positive aspect, and hence you have constructive action now. Even though retrograde with Libra energy rife, we start making progress with diplomacy, love, reconciliation, and balance. In November, you will see it slowly rise. You'll see Venus slowly rise in the pre-dawn eastern sky, and by Christmas, you'll see it pre-sunrise. Venus will station direct as morning star on 16th of November. That's when we just start receiving all the love we've been waiting for. Just before Venus turns direct and just after it turns direct at 25-degree Libra, it's gonna meet. Oh my God, I love that period. 16th of November, mark your calendar around that time. It's the most brilliant time because Venus is also meeting the most beneficial, brightest star, Spica, cultivating knowledge and gifts. This is knowledge, talent, brilliance, skill beyond our means being gifted to our radical free will. This is the ordeal we've been through, and now we're being gifted a skill beyond our means. What else do we need? When Venus goes direct, unlike Mercury, it's not like a tangible knowledge that we have. It's not an objective knowing, unlike Mercury. It's rather a feeling. It's a visceral knowing that you will see reflected in all your relationships, in all your creativity, in your style. Cause this has been a journey of truly loving yourself. Venus is now about 30 degrees behind the sun. She's the warrior empowered with the right tools. People with day horoscope or born in the morning will benefit the most from this long Venus cycle of morning star, but all of us will see the benefits. Mercury will meet Venus on 16th of November, but Mercury will be taking its turn to be retrograde in November on that day. So rework, review, applying our higher ideals to what we have progressed so far with Venus will be the theme going forward. But as I said, Mercury is more about reviewing our intelligent choices, our business choices. Venus is more about relationships. Venus is now visible morning star as we'll stand on 26th of November. It will be 45 to 48 degrees behind the sun, and sun will now be in Sagittarius. Venus will be squaring the node one last time on 27th of November to check if we are taking decisions in line with our path or not. Venus will then oppose Uranus as well On 1st of December, for some positive surprise, 6th of December, Mercury will turn direct, so we can put our ideas to work. Finally, Venus meets Saturn to firm up the structure on 16th of December and comes out of shadow on 17th of December. We now have completed the Venus retrograde cycle, and we are going full speed ahead in our heart related matters, loving ourselves and all that we value more deeply and authentically. Okay, so let's talk about how Venus retrograde will pan out for each of the signs, starting with Aries. Aries, this is in your house of money. So the discussion that will continue and the theme that will continue from now till December will be all about, do I love what I'm getting paid? Do I love what I'm getting paid from the other people, from the financial institutions, from my sponsors, from my business partner? Am I get my fair share or not? This house also rules intimacy, so the question of, do I love what I'm getting in my intimacy sector or not, might also come up for reconsideration, review, and discussion, and an authentic discussion with your partner. Lastly, this house also manages inheritance, so there might be some back and forth on inheritance that might come about for you, Aries. The end result is that Venus will be spending extra time in your money sector, so the end result is that you get paid more, you get more blessed in your intimacy sector. But at the same time, some deep seated issues that have not been discussed on all of these areas will come up out in the open. When Libra new moon happens on 9th of October, you might feel some fresh set of energy, more harmony in your partnership sector at the time. Take advantage of that. When Taurus full moon happens on 24th of October, you might see some culmination of material support, some money coming your way, some self-worth culmination happening, coming your way on 24th of October. Now, Taurus. For Taurus, Scorpio is your partnership sector. So, Venus retrograde will be largely playing out in your marriage partnership. The question of whether do I love this or not will arrive in your marriage and committed partnership, your business partnership and your marriage partnership, the people who you live with on a day in day out basis. The question will be, do I really want to be here or not? Are we having a deep enough relationship or not? This might very well be played out in form of your partner acting up during this time and asking for more intimacy, asking for more depth in your relationship. But it could be predominantly your thought process, am I getting the right share, the right kind of partnerships that I'm looking for or not? And during this cycle, some people might come into your existence to show you whether they are the right people for you or not, hopefully resulting in the right person coming about in December for you. This is also possibility that if it's a existing partnership, you will have a bit of a turbulent time because you are getting squared. It's a hard aspect being made to you, so you can feel some conflicts for a short period of time in October. Just know that the conflicts will survive this transit if you have a strong and stable relationships. I have not seen committed relationships undergo any sort of permanent changes because of Venus retrograde. But yes, if the relationships are temporary, they have just been formed, they are on shaky grounds, there's a possibility of them either progressing more deeply or just going away for good. During this time, you will be infused. You have your full moon this month. It's amazing. 24th of October, you have your own full moon, Taurus. So culmination of some higher goal that you've been working on will help you, give some positive support at that time. You also have some fresh energy infused on 9th of October during the Libra new moon into your day-to-day work sector. So that might give you some amount of emotional support on the side while you transform your committed partnerships. Then for Gemini, this is happening in your busy house. As if you were not busy enough, Venus is going retrograde in your day-to-day work and health sector. So that will undergo a deep analysis and final healing at the end of it. In November, you can expect some amount of discussion, some amount of secrets at work coming about, reality of people coming to surface, and reality of your own standing at work coming to surface and coming to understanding. And you might take a further action which is in positive view of your for your good. September you had the first aspect in that, but it was weak. In October you'll feel a little bit of a stronger aspect in your work and health sector, which will push you into making final change in December. But you are being positively influenced by this, so you will feel this in a very positive manner, especially in the month of December when Venus is moving directly. You'll find some resolution of work issue or health issue that you've been dealing with for a very long time, going back and forth on. But in the month of October you can expect some conflicts, you can expect some power struggles coming about, but at the same time the end result is more healing created over there. This is also in the Libra is your house of children, so you have a fresh energy, a fresh positive energy infused in your house of children, in your house of joy, that can make you feel exhilarated during the month of October on that side. So relationship with loved ones, with your children, with your creative pursuits, there's a fresh energy being infused over there that helps you greatly. Your creativity will be significantly enhanced, especially in November, around 16th of November, when Spica will be making an aspect to this Venus going direct. So great time for your creativity, great time to do a lot of small things and learn a lot. You will be reconsidering whether you want more children, because there's a fresh energy infused over there, or if you don't have children you'll be thinking of having one. That's a fresh energy infused over there as well, in that sector as well. And fresh energy of course in romance and love. On 24th of October, the Taurus full moon is in your spirituality sector. So there's some culmination, some thought process being and a support coming through, a stable influence coming through in a spiritual format, a hidden benefactor coming, like a hidden hand of God coming to support you around 24th of October. Beautiful time for you. You'll be obsessed a little bit with your health going forward, because there might be some sexual health issues that might need healing, and you'll start really taking positive action in that front. You'll start getting very obsessive and passionate about your health during this time, Gemini. Coming to Cancer. For Cancer, this is Venus retrograde is happening in your love sector. Very intense time with your loved ones for the month of October, but positive intensity hopefully, because Venus will be positively aspecting you. So love life will be going through a thorough examination. Do I love this person or not? Is this relationship for me or not? Do I want to have more children or not? Do I want to be different in how I'm handling my children right now? It might transform your relationship with your children during the course of action right now. So you'll take some actions, especially in the month of November and December, to make a forward movement in that. In the month of October, you'll get ideas about it, you get inkling about it. There might be some rough patches with love life and with children, to realize where you are, how far are you from where you want to be with them. So it will completely transform your love life. Any power struggles that might exist in relationships, in your love relationships, might come forth. Even power struggle with children might come to surface during this time. But again, this is extremely healing for you. This is creatively healing. If you have any creative passions, immerse yourself deeply into it. You'll be healed by the creative endeavors that you'll be taking right now. You'll be going and deciding total devotion to a creative project, or to a person, or to your children. You'll be getting off the fence. If you've been on a fence with respect to a love person, a romantic interest, if you've been on a fence, you'll take a call and move forward with it. There's new energy infused in your family life on 9th of October. And the 24th October full moon in Taurus is adding some stability to your friendships, to your social networks you are in. It is bringing about some culmination with your friends, with your social sector, and also culmination in your life goals. So I like the 11th of October full moon for you, and the 8th of October new moon for you, in terms of infusing this positive energy in your personal life while you're undergoing a transformation in your love life with your children. So that's Cancer. Let's move to Leo. So for Leo, the Venus retrograde is happening in the family and the parents' house. So it could play out like in September, having a great time with the family, having great time, deeper connection being formed with especially parents, maybe mother, or working on something with respect to your place of living, and that's going great. But then in October, you reconsider, do I really love the relationship I have right now? Do I really have the right kind of house that I want to stay in? Is the house decorated in the way that I like? Uh, do I have power struggles with my mother? Do I have a mother who's a little bit invasive? Do I have a complex parent relationship? Maybe a power struggle with the parents? So, do I really love where I stand in terms of my relationship with my family, with my parents, as well as it's a bit of a private time, especially the month of October will be very private time for you. Am I feeling emotionally fulfilled or not? Would be a dominant question in your mind right now. And a little bit of family drama could come with that to highlight it more. You will not see that, in my view, in September that much, because Venus is going forward in the family sector. It's great time to be with family. You'll be enjoying more deeper time with your family during this time. But the month of October will bring about re-evaluation, and it is squaring you, so you can expect some amount of harsh energy there, some harsh words, or maybe power struggle in the family happening, but it all resolves into much deeper relationship at home and a beautiful house, if that's what is the area of reconsideration for you. That how does my house look? Do I like how it looks or does not? um, Great improvement, great remodeling in the house happening over the coming months, but not in the month of October. No action towards that. Reconsideration, yes, but not the action. You will change your mind. You will be infused with some fresh energy into your communication sector on 8th of October or 9th of October, with the Libra new moon in your communication, sales, um, working together with people and making a deal happen sector. So that can give you a very positive boost. Also, at the end of the month on 24th of October, you have some great work energy this month, in terms of a sale closing or a job closing during this time, or culmination of a job offer happening during this time, maybe coming out of a blue during this time. And that could be driven by the emotions. If you decide, instead of culmination of the job, because this is a full moon, so you're coming full circle, so you might decide to leave an existing job as well to go for a better position later. That might be driven from you realizing what you truly love as well. So because Venus affects Taurus as well, so your work life is also undergoing a rethinking, whether do I really love it or not. But you're trying to create harmony in your thinking, you're trying to create harmony in your day-to-day communication with people, and trying to get more material stability, as well as form deeper bonds with your family during this month. So that was Leo. Let's move to Virgo now. So for Virgo, this whole Scorpio Venus is happening. Do I love it or not? Happening very much at the mental level. You are thinking, rethinking, especially about your commercial projects, whether they are going in the right direction or not. Do I love what I am doing in terms of my commercial projects or not? Do I love how I'm making the money? Do I love how much money I'm making right now? Those will become the factor of consideration for you. These are skill set. Do I have the right skill set, especially the right communication skills to make a sale happen right now or not? And then you'll find the chinks in the month of October. You will go into deeper research and find the gaps that are there in your style of selling products, in your style of talking to other people and making your point, in your style of thinking, and you look to make the positive changes in it. Virgo, you are being positively aspected by this aspect, by the Venus. So this will work harmoniously for you. The ideas will come to you on how I can improve my business project, how I can improve the sale or the client project that I'm working on. And your thinking is enhanced during this time. This could also be the time when a relationship with sibling will undergo deep transformation. You would have already experienced that in September, the flurry of activity or a positive movement in terms of going on a trip or engaging more with your sibling, especially younger sibling, because that's what this house rules, would have happened in September. But in October, some of that will undergo a reconsideration. Did we discuss something that was not positive? Does it show some gap in our relationship with each other? Do we need to discuss something out? Those thoughts might go in a loop in your mind in the month of October to be resolved for once. Stay away from a bit of darker thoughts during this time, because Scorpio colors everything a little bit darker, including your thoughts, if that's where it's going. You are on the right path. You are being truly, truly blessed in your commercial and financial sector, especially in the month of November. You'll see a very positive infusion of cash coming through, infusion of self-worth and net worth coming through in the month of November. So just stay off the reconsideration and finding gaps in your own self too much. Don't get too nitpicky at this point in time, because you're creating bigger wealth for yourself. You'll have a new fresh infusion, new ideas of how to make more material wealth for yourself from 9th of October, during the month of October, because there is a new moon in your house of new wealth. So there might be a new sale coming in, a new project coming through that can yield a positive outcome down the line. You will also be traveling a lot end of the month or around 24th of October, because your house of adventure is invoked with the full moon in Taurus. So there might be some new connections, foreign connections being made, which will be of benefit to you. Some new people, foreign people coming suddenly into your existence to help you, or you traveling to meet those foreign people to make something new happen for yourself. This is also about culmination of some knowledge that you've been trying to acquire. So maybe a degree coming through during that time. So that's Virgo. So coming to Libra now, the most impacted sign apart from Scorpio during this cycle. Libra, this is all about you. This is about your self-worth. This is about your finances. This is about coming into your full power financially. Having Venus spending an extended period of time in your financial sector over the next couple of months is the end result of that is to create more financial stability for you. And that will be the aim for the next couple of months. You will experience events in October nudging you, showing you the gap of what you should be paid and what you're paid right now. It will also be nudging you in terms of how are you treated at work, or how you treated in terms of your self-worth by other people. And that can happen in form of power struggle with other people or any other format that you might face. But the end result is to bring you further into your power. This is your time. This is your season. And Venus is your planet. Being impacted by Venus retrograde for an extended period of time will empower you very much. By the end of it, you will know your true stand, and you will be able to ask for the money that you need. You will be able to receive the money that you need during this time. This also very much affects your physical being, because Venus will be spending all of November in your sign. That physically impacts you in a positive fashion. You'll be thinking and rethinking, and it's your birthday season, right? So you'll be thinking, rethinking, do I need to change my look? Do I need to color my hair differently? How do I come across to people? Do I need to change how I physically come across to the general population? And you'll be thinking of making a change in your style, either physically or how you come across to people, and also in your diet, what you put inside your body, because you truly believe that's what is shown outwardly anyways. So balancing your diet, balancing how you look, creating more strength in your financial sector will be the theme of Venus retrograde for you. You will be getting new ideas, especially around your new moon. You have we all get one new moon, and you're getting your new moon on 9th of October. You'll get new ideas on how to make changes, especially you'll get these dramatic ideas. I want to completely change my look during that time. Idea is to maybe not make physical changes the month of October, especially when Venus is retrograde. As I've suggested in the introductory video, it's not a good idea to do cosmetic surgery during Venus retrograde period. It's better to be held off. But at the same time, if those ideas are coming to you, have them. This is a time of creating the ideas, being creative about how do you want to present yourself to the world. So create your own style in privacy, but coming out to the world with it, there is still some time. There might be some culmination in the finances that you receive from other, whether it's a loan or it is a money that you receive from your partnerships, or the money your partner makes, which might be undergoing some amount of some ending or some culmination by the end of the month. Maybe you're repaying a loan, or there might be some changes in the finances of your partner at the end of the month. So that's the theme. I really love the overall theme of Venus retrograde for you, because Venus is so happy in spending extended period of time in your planet. You'll feel a soothing effect of that, especially as it progresses further end of October and November for yourself. So let's come to the sign of Scorpio, the sign most impacted, because Venus is going to spend most of its time in Scorpio. So this is about creating more love, more awareness, more resources for yourself, Scorpio. This is my sign too. I'm looking forward to this extra loving that I'm going to get. But at the same time, you will be expanding the flaws that exist in your partnerships, the flaws that are there in the way you look, and you'll be looking at creating more intensity in all your relationships during this time. You'll experience that in privacy, especially in the month of November, but also the month of October, especially the month of October. In your physical being, you'll experience that more physically. How do I look? How do I come across to the world? Am I looking good? Am I dressing well? Is my weight where it should be? You'll be very concerned about your physical appearance in the month of October, more so from the point of view not in vanity, but in the viewpoint, does my external appearance reflect how I internally am? Is it as empowered as I feel from inside? So this is about creating deep empowerment for yourself. This is extremely rare opportunity. Make use of that. You'll get opportunity to have some deeper discussions with the people you work with the people in your relationships. A lot of ugliness will come out, a lot of secrets will come out, because you're trying to create more power for yourself, more confidence for yourself, more loving for yourself. So only the people who truly value and love you, they stay at the end of the cycle in your life. You will be tempted to make physical changes in the month of October. Do not do that. As I suggested, do not make a radical change. Do not change your closet. Do not change your entire closet during the month of October. You'll be tempted to do that because you won't like what's standing in your closet anymore. At the same time, you may not like how your hair is. Maybe you want to change your hair radically to look different. Do not do an elective surgery during the month of October to enhance your looks, or make any radical changes. I mean, you can color your hair if you feel so tempted, but you might change your mind about the color of it, and it might look completely different from what you asked for. You'll be infused with a new spirituality, a new spiritual support, a hidden support coming your way around the 9th of October, new moon in Libra, and you'll experience some amount of internal support while you go through this process. Also, at the end of the month, when we have the Taurus full moon, there might be some culmination in your partnership at the time. I would want you to be careful during this time of being too impulsive about your relationships at the end of the month around the full moon in Taurus, which is around 24th of October, because your partnerships will get a shock at that time, because Sun will be opposing Uranus. And overall, during a Venus retrograde period, when Venus will be squaring Uranus, opposing Uranus at that time as well, around 31st, you'll get a relationship shock at that time as well. So just be prepared for it. Your relationship sector will be undergoing a lot of changes during this time. So moving on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius Scorpio is taking a long drawn journey in your dream sector. Vivid dreams, vivid fantasies coming your way. And also anything that is going on behind the scene, any secrets that you've been hiding behind the scene might come to surface, especially relationships that you've been hiding behind the scenes might come out to surface, because it's time for them to come out now. There might be some anger and jealousy that might flare up in these hidden relationships as well, but you are coming at a point where you are making a decision, getting off the fence, whether I want to continue the relationship I have, which I cultivated in my privacy, or not anymore. Similarly, if you've been working on some creative project in hiding and you have not introduced to the world, you'll be reconsidering whether it's a good time for me to come out with it or not. But you are being positively aspected by Venus during this time, so it will all happen not in a negative fashion, but in a more harmonious way to you. You would also be looking to go out in the community, especially the month of November. You'll be looking at introducing some work that you've been working on in hiding to a larger audience in the month of November, when Venus moves into your community or social sector, where you'll be meeting and hobnobbing with the right circles, making the right contacts to help you in your hopes and dreams. So November is great on that, but in the month of October, be prepared. There might be some secrets, some hidden things coming out to surface, and you'll have to face them, but they're all for your good, and they will not come out in a negative way, because they are positively aspecting you. You have a new infusion of energy in your social sector on 8th or 9th of October. So there might be some support coming through, some empowerment coming through in your friendship sector. But at the same time, there is a culmination, completion happening in your work sector. So your money houses, in my view, will support you. Your dreams, hopes and dreams will support you during this time. This is a good time to be empowered in your partnerships, in your relationships, and it is a great work relationships, business partnerships especially, and a great time to be infused with some amount of newness in your work sector. So if you have been looking to quit a job and then be done with it, because on 24th of October your work sector will be opposed by Uranus, some sudden event at work happening, asking you to make a decision finally on work. This could also be a sudden event giving you a gift at work. You are positively aspected overall during the cycle, so I feel that you are supported during the cycle. But you have to be prepared during the month of October for some secrets coming out, while in November you might be presenting some creative project or some work that you've been doing in hiding to a wider audience and bringing it out to the open. There is also possibility in October of a long travel to another country, And if you feel a little bit in the hiding or hurt, travel can really heal you during this time. Coming to Capricorn, Capricorn Venus retrograde is happening largely in your big wealth sector. You are reconsidering how to make your next big wealth. You're reconsidering who are the right supporters, who are your right sponsors that you need to go after, who will support you in reaching that status that you deserve. Because in November, you are going to attain that. November is a beautiful time for your career because Venus will be spending an extended period of time in your work sector. But before it does that, in the month of October, you can expect some amount of power struggle with the people who are there, who are supposed to help you get there. Your networks, there will be some power struggles, some discussions, some deep discussions, even a little bit of conflict happening in the month of October with the people who are in your social circle. So the groups that you belong to, the power circles that you belong to, the work group that you belong to, even your friends who are working with you, the powerful circles that are around you who are supposed to promote you, there might be some deep reconsideration on, and you might be reconsidering as well whether those are your right supporters or not, they are your right sponsors or not. But the end result is to create more wealth for you because Venus will go direct in this very area in December. So the all this process is to create more big wealth for you in December. During this time, a fresh energy is infused in your work sector. So around 8th or 9th of October, you might be getting some new ideas at work. Use them. There might be more thought process to create harmony at work as well. At the same time, there might be something beautiful culminating in your love life on 24th of October. So look out for some excitement in your love life as well. Overall, Venus is supporting you because it's in positive aspect with your sign, so you'll feel its supporting influence over the next coming months. Coming to Aquarius, this is in your house of career. You are looking to get more in depth on where do you stand. Do I love what I do or not? Is the theme of the Venus retrograde season. Do I really love where I am in my career? Do I really love the position I hold? Do I love the title I have or not? That will be the theme of Venus retrograde for you, and hence you will decide whether to move forward or not with the job you are in, and that will culminate in December. In the month of October, you'll be reconsidering that. You might face some power struggle as a result of that with authority figures. You might face some conflicts during this time as well at work with the people you work with. You might start seeing the gap in the people you work with, especially your bosses and the authority figures who are supposed to support you. Might see some issues come up with them. This could be authority figure in form of your father as well. There might be some conflicts to finally deepen the relationship with your father, which might happen during this time as well. The month of November is largely focused on adventure, so you might be taking an adventure in the month of November. Good luck for that, or you might be going for some higher education in November. Coming to Pisces, I'm sorry, the favorite is left for the last always, but Pisces, the Venus retrograde is happening in your belief system. You are questioning whether the current belief system you have is supporting your career growth or not. The current belief system that you have is helping you get the adventure you want in your life or not. Because of that, you might be coming in contact with some foreign people suddenly coming into your life, giving you ideas on what to do next, either in form of attaining more education, going after more knowledge, going for a sabbatical, for example, and attaining more knowledge, or going and traveling to more foreign countries to attain this influence that you've been hankering for. You've been looking for it, you're trying to get more adventure in your life, and that's exactly what Venus gives you in the month of October, which will be finally resolved in December and solidified at the time. For the month of November, you'll be spending in sin. Venus will be going extensively in Libra in your intimacy sector. So there might be some questions back and forth on intimacy that might come up as a build up to that, but that gets resolved in November. You are very positively aspected by Venus. I love this energy for you. I love how this is finally panning out for you. You'll see some fresh infusion of cash maybe coming through a sponsor around 8th or 9th of October. You might see more support coming from your partner's resources as well during that time, or an inheritance coming through which will financially support you more during the month of October. That helps you in this journey that you're having to truly understand whether what I believe is supporting me or not is my degrees, my knowledge that I have, is it supporting me or not, or do I need to go deep dive and attain something additional in form of qualification for me. You will see some messaging come around, a sudden messaging come around 24th and 25th of October. I'll be on lookout for that because it might help create more material stability for you. So that is all, sign. I'm sorry it was very long, but I'm going to leave the timestamps for everybody. I hope this was helpful. Thank you.